And welcome to Metagame Minute, our weekly metagame roundtable discussion with me and Milo today, me and Ball, where we go over this week's episode. So Milo, just right away, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What's going through your brain after that episode?
So wanted to figure out a way to just like sabotage the box and just leave it there.
Yeah,
I knew it wasn't going to happen.
But that's push the dream. Push the dream. You know,
like I just had to at least try because like that's what Ball would do. He'd be like, no, this doesn't have to.
He's trying to break it.
Yeah. You like everything has like a solution. There's always a way to solve a problem.
If there was enough time, you could have figured it out and broken it.
Yeah,
exactly. Like that's where Ball was sitting.
Yeah. That's where I was left off at.
Cool.
Just like there's got to be a way.
I've got a question for you. Can I have you in your own words tell me who Agnog is?
Agnog is a character that I created like a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Who's just kind of like this little solo jerk guy who just like ran into cities and stealthed around and murdered people.
Yeah.
And eventually he got turned into a giant aboleth thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And
for some reason went down some stairs, hung out with some cultists, said, sure, let's go ahead and participate in this ritual, rolled a crit for something, and I decided back then that meant you got absorbed into this aboleth.
The creature, yeah.
And that was the end of Agnog's story. Or so we thought.
He exists here again. Yeah, when you said that, I was just like, oh, you son of...
Yeah.
That cracked me up so bad.
Yeah.
Is that who you were telling me about?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I was... No, that will be for yours. Yeah, which we'll see next week. But yeah, so I having that aboleth down there, I wanted to have, and I'm like, oh, I know an aboleth that's in this world.
Yeah.
I know an aboleth has an interesting story to it, and so that's who I put down in the basement.
That's so freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
I love how you've used the world that we've already created, like over years, and
I'm
brought
not
it
trying to put
game.
more work on myself.
Yeah.
I've already done this.
Well,
you know?
making the connections just makes it so much fun for me.
Yeah. You know, all those ones that are associated with you, I like to bring because you can appreciate them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Question I have for you is, Ball, kind of after this dream sequence ends, and in like during this time where Ball is, what are your thoughts on Zephyrus? It's been a couple of days, like since his death, pseudo death.
It's been a couple of days. I mean. I don't know. My feelings about him is he's brought us to this mansion. He's created all of this really interesting like things around me. And I feel like I kind of owe it to him to try to not let him just exist in some alternative dimension.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, I think Ball would want to try to find a way to bring him back if he could, but he also understands his limitations.
Gotcha.
And that there's going to be challenges associated with finding him, and there's going to be challenges associated with bringing him back too.
Sure. Yeah.
He's definitely interested in saving him.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, it's only been a couple of days since his death, and he was... Like, if there was a character in the campaign so far that I thought he was, like, getting along with the best, it would be Zephyrus.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it makes sense in my mind to want to try to save him.
Yeah, nice.
Especially knowing that he's not dead.
Right.
And there's a part of him that
it's very much this odd middle ground that you've seen him in.
And then this new character coming into the world is kind of a similar situation where he's trapped in something, but he's able to project himself outside of it, or his
at least
soul.
To some degree.
Yeah, to some
he's
degree.
Able to do that.
So, like, there's these breakages that happen that exist. So there's gonna be ways you can dismantle it and bring it like to you, right? So I think that only solidifies it more, like meeting Agnog.
Wait, solidifies what exactly?
The idea that Zephyrus can be brought back.
Oh, gotcha. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. No. This was very very fun.
This city is so cool, man. I love the way you described.
Oh, the hold,
like the
iron hold.
Yeah, like the like raggedy buildings like hanging from the city or from the ceiling and shit. That was so cool.
And here's the thing is, with other things that have shown up through this episode, through this one-on-one, where that city is vaguely enough. You've been there now. You can consider yourself to have been there.
I never got the name for it.
The Iron Hold.
Iron Hold?
Yes. I like place names that say hold in them. The Iron Hold. And I don't think we ever got to it. This is Metagame Minute, so I'll just kind of divulge some of it. The local rumor of what's going on with that place and why it has this strange magic is that the gods imprisoned another god in there. And to prevent them from causing any sort of violence, this incredibly powerful enchantment was put on it.
Interesting.
So, yeah. That's the lore. That's the lore of what that place is. And so after whatever god escaped, some pirates and vampires moved in and made it home. Yeah.
That's another thing, the vampires I was really curious about, because you talked about like a vampire coven that was like cleared out around
in Usama. There was one,
the Magnus's place.
Yep.
And I was wondering if they were somehow connected to. Yeah, there was just like, this just raised a bunch of questions that I'm curious about. Like every time it seems like we play, you always like put in these little bits that I'm just curious about, and I take like little notes, and I'm like, well, maybe someday this will come up.
Yeah. And then one final question for you. Just want to ask, like during this, since we've started, is there something you were expecting to do with Ball, or expecting to see happen with Ball that hasn't happened yet, or kind of like some sort of backstory component to come through that hasn't yet? Like since your initial kind of idea and formation of who Ball was and to who he is now.
Like how has he changed or evolved?
Or I guess was there anything you were expecting to have been a part of Ball's character that hasn't happened yet?
Oh,
or that's changed.
I think I've kind of played him how I thought he would be played so far. I don't think he's really had like a whole lot of time to like evolve. Can't really think of anything right off the hand. Okay. There's things that I would like to explore with him, like talking about like feelings and stuff like that, and emotions. Like I really enjoyed like playing with that anger and being able to allow him to tap into it and see how it feels, and he doesn't like it. And it's obviously a bad feeling that he doesn't want to explore anymore.
Especially when you're in the Iron Hold. It's real bad then.
Yeah, I don't know. So far, he's a character that wants to learn, wants to explore. He's just a curious thing. I think that's the kind of characters that I like to play.
Yeah.
And I think Ren was very much that same kind of character that wanted to learn things and wanted to explore and was open-minded about stuff. And that's just the way I like to play D&D, I think.
And I think that very much shows in how I view Ball and you as a player. Is that's why how I kind of set this one shot or one-on-one with you was just a playground to explore. Like I knew we were going to get to the point with the vampires. I knew we'd have the beginning, but the middle, I just wanted to see what you wanted to explore.
Yeah.
Like this is a place I have a fair amount of notes on already, and so it's fun to just have that kind of open space and learn more about it.
No, I loved it. It was
and
great.
so now that's something that Ball knows about is this place and can make history checks on it. Also, getting the right spells and getting them in your ritual book, as it were, you will be able to cast a spell that takes you back to the Chateau de Magnus.
I can't remember either. We'll have to stay here.
You will need some components, something like a music box, a piece of metal, and a tooth. So I would say it's something that can make a sound. A piece of metal and a tooth are the components needed to cast the spell, and the phrase is, "I can't remember either. We'll have to stay here." So you can always go back to the Chateau de Magnus, given a 10-minute ritual spent.
That's fantastic. I love that. That's so clever.
Yeah. So that was fun to put together.
Is me just not wanting to go back.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us around our table here with the Metagame Minute. We will see you guys next Monday for the next episode. And grab your swords and keep on adventuring.